Hey, welcome to Wax Wednesday, stuff I picked up. I am Rob, your host. Welcome to this weekly stream we do, where I kind of show you what I bought from the vinyl world and how I fed my addiction. This week, I told you I was going to rein it in a little bit. I've only got two this week, but I got a couple of pretty good ones, so let's get right to it. Oh, and by the way, if you've got something that you've picked up, let us know about it in the comment section, or if you've got a comment to make, by all means, I'll respond. And please, if you like this, share it, subscribe. Be part of the weekly fun. Okay. First up, well, before I talk about the record, I want to show you the record. Now, in my collection, I probably have about, I'm going to guess, at least 100 pieces of colored vinyl, whether it's transparent, opaque, Coke bottle, spatter. This is the first one that was described as a smoosh, and I love it. It is a black, white, and blue smoosh. It is the new Bob Mould record called Here We Go Crazy. Gorgeous, huh? And it even looks like it has a splashing kind of effect on it. So this is one of the prettiest records I've owned. And yeah, gorgeous. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about Bob Mould first and who he is. If you were a fan of alternative music in the 80s, you might remember him as one of the creative guiding forces behind Husker Du, who were extremely influential throughout the, start of the 80s on through to 87 when they broke up. Bob Mould would have a solo career after that. That would include the band Sugar as well, who I've featured in past episodes of this. As for Husker Du, they started out in the hardcore kind of camp, but eventually, as they matured their songwriting and developed a knack for melody, they changed alternative music drastically throughout the 80s and kind of pointed it in the direction that we would be following into the 90s without question. Husker Du and another band that I'm extremely fond of, their crosstown rivals, The Replacements, both extremely influential as to where alternative music would go over the coming decade. But this is Bob Mould's album and his latest. It just came out about a week and a half ago. I thought I was doing fairly good at staying up to date with Bob Mould's career as of late. But Eric at Backstreet has kind of shone a light on the fact that, he had a fair body of work in between now and the last album that I picked, which was back in 2012. It was called Silver Age. That album at the time I found nothing short of inspirational, because here was Bob in his 50s and just rocking out like a guy who's 30 years younger than him. And it was just a fantastic record. I hope that this would be in that sort of vein. And it is. It's a guitar record, as you can see. He's on the front cover here. He's got the Stratocaster on. He's ready to rock. He's a standing defiant senior citizen right now. Actually, he's kind of looks like he's got a little bit of a shoulder tint there. Must be some bursitis. But anyway, the question is, in 2025, what kind of songwriter is Bob Mould? Does he still have that biting, really angry, aggressive kind of leaning to his music? Can it still go there? Can he still make that move? Yes, he can. This is a good angsty guitar record from Bob Mould. A couple of songs, in particular the title track, actually almost has sort of a sweetness to it that I did like. But anyway, he's not just a turning into a get off my lawn kind of senior citizen. He's still got a great voice, and he's still got something to say. And he still has that distinctive guitar tone, which, again, was one of those building blocks of alternative music throughout the 80s. Bob Mould, he's larger than life when it comes to American or North American alternative music, post-punk. Husker Du is definitely worth looking up if you're curious. But Bob Mould's career post Husker Du has been very fulfilling as well. And this is brand new, and again, it's a solid Bob Mould record. He's within the last few years dabbled in electronica. He's done softer releases in his first solo album post Husker Du was practically an acoustic record. But anyway, he's in fine form here on Here We Go Crazy, brand new from Bob Mould. If you're a fan of him or Husker Du, this one probably won't let you down. All right. Next up, this is Booker T and the MGs and Macklemore Avenue. It's kind of their homage or their tribute to Abbey Road. They're even kind of paying tribute to it in the cover photo here. But you can also see to the right here, in Detroit, they had Motown, which was Hitsville, USA. In Memphis, where these guys were from, they had the Stax label, and that was Soulsville, USA. And you can see that a little bit on the marquee right there. And of course, the band is identified here, Booker T and the MGs. They're kind of the house band for Stax Records. They were on a lot of singles throughout the 60s and 70s, and of course recorded under their own name. Their biggest success would be a song from 1962, which was an instrumental called Green Onions. It's kind of cool. Got a nice little stroll to it. But, Booker T and the MGs, very influential band in a sense that, well, for starters, they were an interracial band. They mixed black and white, and in the South at this time, that was a risky move. Booker T himself, the band leader, hugely fond of the album Abbey Road, and it's pretty obvious with this. They pretty much cover, well, most of Abbey Road on this. There's 4 tracks on the album. 3 of them are medleys, and if you remember Abbey Road, side 2, a lot of side 2 is a medley, so they kind of recapture that one and then add another couple. The only song that stands alone on this is Something, and they do an amazing version on that. And that's what I will say about this record. It's pretty good. This is not an original. It's a 2010 reissue, but it sounds fantastic. But this is an experiment that works sometimes and sometimes it doesn't. On Something, the band really digs in and, takes that song to some unique places that it's never been before. When you hear them do stuff like Come Together, it's kind of got that slow, ominous, dark stroll to it that Hammond organ kind of sounds great with. But when you hear them do Here Comes the Sun, it kind of sounds department store Muzak-ish a little bit. So when it works great. And when it doesn't, it's kind of so-so. But nonetheless, it is a cool album. And again, I don't have too many releases on the Stax label, so even this nice reissue is good to have. Macklemore Avenue by Booker T and the MGs, paying homage to the Beatles and their Abbey Road album in particular. So that's what I had this week. Thanks for, again, tuning in. We'll be back in 7 days. If you've got any comments, hit me in the comment section. And remember to keep buying those records. And home is where your records are. So head on home and throw one on. And we'll talk to you in another 7 days. Till then, cheers.